Guys, this is Nico. So you want to learn Japanese, but you think it is too hard. Furthermore, you might be overwhelmed by the sheer number of characters to learn. Well, stay tuned to find out the secret behind how you can learn most of the 2000 characters in less than a year. But maybe more importantly, we will dive deep into the method behind this incredible statement and how you can use it. Oh, and before I forget, here's another video that will tell you all you need to know about the best way to start learning Japanese. Hey guys, did you know you could find here a curated playlist of my best video to learn Japanese? Make sure to check it out. First, let's talk about the basics. In Japanese, we have two syllable-based systems, which is called kanas, composed of hiraganas and katakanas. Being syllable-based, those systems represent sounds and are pretty straightforward once you get the hang of it. But today we are focusing on kanjis, which is the intriguing characters that often scare beginners away. I highly recommend you watching this video I made to fully understand the kanjis and kanas and how they are used in the Japanese language. Coming back to the kanjis, it is important to understand what they are. Kanjis could be defined as ideograms, meaning they are symbols that represent ideas or objects. They originally came from China and were adapted to the Japanese language. When kanjis were first introduced to Japan, it was used to represent Japanese words and ideas. But over time, this has vastly evolved, and the Japanese developed their own way of using these characters. One of the unique aspects of kanjis is that they often have multiple readings, the On-yomi and the Kun-yomi. On-yomi is the Sino-Japanese reading, and Kun-yomi is the Japanese reading. This dual reading system can seem tricky at first, but with practice it becomes a second nature. The only issue is that even though they are surrounded by it every day, Japanese people spend more than 10 years studying and memorizing them. And it seems impossible to replicate this for a foreigner. But thankfully, there's a secret method that we will now discover. Another secret is that you already know a lot of Japanese, and this without even realizing it. To understand this, you can click here to discover the corresponding video. To start, it is crucial to understand who is James W. Heisig. He was an American scholar who developed a groundbreaking technique to learn kanjis. And his story is pretty damn interesting. James Heisig was living in Japan and, like most of us, found learning kanjis was incredibly daunting. Moreover, he found that traditional methods were not effective for non-native learners, so he set out to create a new approach. Heisig developed his technique out of necessity, as he was noticing that many learners, including himself, were just overwhelmed by the sheer numbers of kanjis to learn, as well as their multiple readings. Furthermore, traditional memorization was just too slow and ineffective. So he came up with a method that focuses on understanding and visualization. Heisig's method is outlined in the book Remembering the Kanjis. The principle behind this approach is simple yet effective. It breaks down each kanjis into simple components called radicals and creates imaginary stories in order to remember them. Instead of memorizing each character by brute force, you use your imagination to create memorable stories that links the component and the meaning. Let's take an example. The kanji of bright is composed of the kanji of sun and the kanji of moon. Heisig's method would suggest to create a story like the sun and the moon together make the sky bright. This way, you are not just memorizing shapes, but connecting them to vivid images and stories that can stick in your mind. The reason this technique works so well is because it leverages our natural ability to remember images and stories better than abstract symbols. By creating a mental image or narrative, you give your brain something concrete to latch onto, ultimately making the kanji much easier to recall. This is a fascinating technique, and if you want to learn more about this and how you can apply this to vast domains or areas, make sure to click here to discover how you can hack your brain to better learn things. Before we jump in, here's a quick warning. If you're a beginner, beginning with a Heisig method can set you on the right path and save you a lot of frustration down the road. But only if you desire to get a good level in Japanese. If your goal is only to get a beginner's level, this method might seem a little overwhelming, as it does not start with the most common kanjis you usually see at a beginner's level. Nevertheless, the principle of the Heisig approach can still be applied. Let's now dive deep into how you can start using this approach. Following the book, you can start learning 5 to 10 new kanjis per day. This is a manageable number that ensures steady progress without overwhelming you. After learning your 10 new kanjis, you can start putting them into the Anki app. If you're not familiar with Anki, it is a powerful tool to memorize things that uses a space repetition system, which is perfect when you want to learn and remember kanjis. If you are interested about this, click on this video detailing you the best tools to learn Japanese. Coming back to Anki, it will help you reviewing the kanji at optimal intervals, saving you the hassle and efforts needed in managing your study schedule manually. By consistently adding 10 kanjis per day, you can learn up to 70 kanjis in just a week, and almost 300 in just a month. Remember that like most things, the key is consistency. Use the book Remembering the Kanji to learn and break down each characters. Then reinforce your knowledge with Anki. This combination makes the learning process effective and efficient, cementing the characters in your memory and ensure a long-term retention. To find more useful insights, you can check this video that will explain you how learning Japanese will change your life. Hey guys! That wraps up the video. I really hope you enjoyed it and that you found it as interesting as it was for me to craft it. Don't forget to like and subscribe in order to support that type of content. But maybe most importantly, you can leave a comment in the section down below to share your insights or ask me any of your questions. Also, make sure to hit that bell icon in order to be the first one to see my upcoming video. In the meantime, I'm out of here everybody. See you soon. Bye bye. Matane.